Feel overwhelmed? Are you suffering from stress overload, which leaves you feeling exhausted, frazzled, and defeated? Are you or a loved one having a difficult time coping with stress in your life? What is stress? What causes stress? What are the most common signs of stress? What can you do to better understand and manage your level of stress? Hello, my name is Attorney Bahrawry, and welcome to Your Money, Your Life. To answer these and many other questions, I'm joined by Dr. Tatarunis, Stress Management Consultant. He's the president of the Greater New England Academy of Hypnosis, Incorporated. By way of background, Dr. Tatarunis spent 31 years of his life as a music teacher and school administrator in the Massachusetts public school system. In 1984, he retired from education and went into the stress management and hypnosis seminar business. Dr. Al, welcome to Your Money, Your Life. It's great to have you on the program.
Hey, listen, it's nice to be here.
Yeah. Now, you have a stress management system, correct?
Yeah.
What's the basic premise behind that system? How does it work?
I can't change everyone and everything in your environment, but I can help you change the way you react to your environment. Mm-hmm. And the reaction is the power that we have.
I was at a Rotary meeting when you came and you spoke to our Rotary Club. You said that there are three great stressors, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that's right.
What are those three great stressors? Could you elaborate?
Yeah, circumstances, events, and people. And of these, you can do something about some of your circumstances. You don't like where you live, move. You don't like the color of your hair, dye it. You don't like being bald, buy a toupee. You don't like hair, shave it off. You hate your kids when they're not looking, run away. Now, these are circumstances over which you have control. There are circumstances over which you don't have any control, such as the price of gas, paying taxes. If you're working for a particular boss who's very bossy, you don't have any control over that. So there's a rule for circumstances. And I say it in the vernacular, but it's really the serenity prayer. If you can do something about it, do it. If you can't, screw it. Think about how much time we all spend trying to do something about something we can't do anything about. We figure as long as I'm focusing on it, I'm doing something. No, you're just spinning your wheels. It's a waste of time. And guess what? Just creates more stress. Now, the next one is an event. I was unloading my car and I tripped over one of those cement barriers. Mm-hmm. And the next thing I know, I'm getting off the ground. I didn't break anything. I got a bump on my head the size of a baseball. Next morning, I get up, I look like a raccoon. Got two black eyes. So I call up my daughter, Paula, the real doctor in the family.
The medical doctor.
Yeah, the medical doctor. And I say, hey, this is what happened to me. She said, Dad, got good news and bad news. I said, give me the good ones first. She says, your eyes are going to clear up in about 10 days. I said, what's the bad news? She said, well, you're going to look like a member of the rock group Kiss. I said, what are you talking about? She said, you're going to have a purple face. She was right. And then I think it took about 3 weeks. And I got to the point where I figured I was going to scare kids and dogs, so I joined the human race again. And you know what? That was an event. It was stressful, but if you want to reframe the event, it was a great lesson in patience. Mm-hmm. Because I couldn't do anything. I had to rely on the homeostasis in my body to take care of things. Mm-hmm. And fine, so that's what I did. And last but not least, people. And if you don't know that you can't control people, you have to live on a different planet, different galaxy with a different belief system. When I was a school administrator, I had, there were 27 people who were working for me at the time before I retired. And guess what? They had a contract. So they didn't work for me. Mm-hmm. I had to go by the letter of the contract. Right. So you can't control people, you know. And again, let me reiterate, how you react to circumstances, events, and people is great power. If you want to get mad, go ahead. And if you don't want to get mad, don't. But the thing still remains the same. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'd like to follow up on a couple of things that you said. Let's go to circumstance for a second.
Yeah.
And you mentioned, and I happen to agree with you, that one shouldn't be concerned and one shouldn't really focus on things that one cannot control, that are outside one's control. Well, I see it in my law practice all the time. People are constantly focusing on things they have no control over whatsoever. There's some other party, some other person
Yeah.
who has full control of the situation. So how do you get these people to let go, so to speak? How do you do that?
Well, I'll tell you, it's difficult. I have a lot of people who come into the office and, you know, we begin to work and they say, yeah, but that's the way I am. And I say, well, if that's the way you are and you're going crazy, you can change. If you're a cat or a giraffe or a rooster, you're stuck. But you're a Homo sapien, you can change. Life is a mind game. And when people come to see me, what do? I teach them how to play the game. Because once you learn how to play the game, it's easy. I had a great stress management device. And let me see, that when I was 51, that was 34 years ago. It was Southern Comfort on the rocks. Did it work? Yeah, it worked like a charm. Except for one thing, I got up one Tuesday night and said to myself, where the hell was the party? There was no party. I just came home after being in school and I had a few drinks to relax. And at that particular time, I thought to myself, my God, man gets to the moon, he invents this thing that you and I are on now, television, the internet, paints great pictures, writes beautiful music. I wonder if he developed a better way to live his life than I'm doing it. And that's when I discovered meditation. I've been meditating now for 34 years, and my life has changed.
So meditation is a stress coping device?
Yeah, it's one of them.
Okay,
And,
because I know some people will use alcohol, as obviously you do, as
Yeah.
a stress coping device. Other people will use recreational drugs. Other people will use cigarettes and so forth and so on.
yeah, you know, man is very, very creative. And, you know, people get addicted to the internet. They get addicted to almost anything. Yeah. And you take a look at our society now, what are people into? They're into food.
So what signs should people look for in that they're under too much stress? Because there is good stress and bad stress, and you want to be concerned about the bad stress, not the good stress.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, what's good stress? You win the lottery, you get a doctor's degree, you get married, all of your kids graduate from college, you don't have to pay the big tuitions. You know, that's all great stress. But the bad stress is when you get into a particular set of circumstances, events, and people, and they create tension in your life. And if people in today's world don't know what the hell stress is, they better check their pulse because they're dead. Everybody knows what stress is because it's around us all the time. You know, as you and I speak, what is Washington doing? They're stressing themselves out, trying to come to a solution to the debt problem. And I wish they'd hurry up.
I wish they would too.
Yeah, because I keep watching the market. And yesterday I got very rich.
Well, the stress market, the stock market is the biggest stressor of all, isn't it?
You got it.
It's moving up and down.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So you mentioned to me before the show about the 4 agreements and that appear in a book by a gentleman by the name of Ruiz. What are these 4 agreements and why are they so important?
And the first agreement is impeccable speech. Impeccable means sinless. Mean what you say what you mean. Words are very, very powerful. As a lawyer, I don't have to explain that to you.
No.
The type of words that Ruiz is really interested in is the type of words we use on ourselves. I call it automatic negative talk. It's the ant, and it gets inside of us, and it says, you're too short, you're too tall, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too bald. It's always talking to you negatively. So what you have to do is you have to adopt this first agreement. Now, the second one I love. Don't take things personally. That's very, very difficult, see? Because after all, he's not respecting me. Hey, if you take his word, then guess what? You're not respecting yourself because his word seems to be better than yours. And the third agreement is don't make assumptions, because an assumption is a fantasy. It's not there. You assume your boss loves the way you do your job. You get your yearly report, he thinks you suck. Surprise. On the other hand, you think the boss hates you, you get your report, and you're doing well. So when you make assumptions, it's a fantasy. Now, the fourth agreement is do the best you can. Sometimes the best you can do is going to be 100%. Sometimes it's going to be 20%, but it's still the best you can do. That's it.
Modern life is filled with stress-inducing events such as deadlines, frustrations, demands, and nuisances. In addition, the media bombards us with negative stories concerning financial troubles, human failures, terrorist threats, natural disasters, medical disappointments, and political problems. If that isn't enough, then sprinkle in life challenges such as layoffs, unemployment, illness, money woes, work issues, relationship issues, and of course traffic jams. It isn't difficult to see that stressful situations are constant and even inevitable. For some people, stress is just another routine of daily life, like your morning coffee. Stress, no doubt, is part of life, and it affects everyone at one time or another. Also, stress isn't always bad. Stress can have the positive effect of energizing and motivating a person to improve performance and efficiency. Some people actually thrive on stress. They find it not only exciting, but also an affirmation of being alive. However, high levels of stress can be problematic. So much so that your mind, body, and relationships pay the price. If you're frequently feeling frazzled, exhausted, and overwhelmed, and this feeling negatively affects your life, it's time to protect yourself by learning how to recognize the signs and symptoms of stress. Only then can you take the positive steps to reduce its harmful effects. For as Ben Franklin is quoted as saying, an investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. In closing, I'd like to thank Dr. Al for participating in this program. Al, thank you.
My pleasure.
And as usual, I'd like to thank you, the viewer, for watching Your Money, Your Life. My name is Attorney Ramsey Bahrawry, building your trust.